Whoever wanted to Drunk and Disorderly podcast brought to you by North Spokane CBD. Have you ever tried CBD or hemp buds? We have a great deal for you. Use discount code DRUNK at northspokanecbd.com and get 15% off your order. NSCBD offers pesticide-free, high-quality, third-party tested cannabis-derived CBD products. You won't get none of that vitamin E death lung shit here. This is high-quality stuff. So remember, discount code DRUNK for 15% at northspokanecbd.com. Aaron, tell them what flavor to get.
Oh, get the cherry pie. Get the cherry pie all day long. It's my absolute favorite. Shit smokes great. It's good stuff, guys.
So, couple admin notes before we get rolling in here. Get some people joining the stream. We are currently, with our new platform, streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. You can find us at all three. If you have a preference, you can go to that one. We're gonna dump the links here in the comments. So for Twitch, it is twitch.tv/drunk and disorderly media. There are no spaces, no hyphens, nothing. Twitch is a little bit of a pain in the butt.
It's the letter N, not and.
Yep.
The letter N.
And you all know where to find us on Facebook. It's where we've been forever. It's facebook.com/D&D Liberty. I am not actually going to read off the YouTube address because YouTube addresses don't make sense. It's just a bunch of letters and numbers, and I don't have that kind of time. So
remember, too, if you're watching us on a watch party tonight, we can see your comments. If they come to the main page on the watch parties, sometimes we miss them. So hit us up on our main Facebook page to leave those comments.
And without further ado, Dre, take us away.
Hello and welcome, everyone. I've just really had the most exciting last couple of days. I've had no car, so I've just been doing the housewife thing, and I'm not really good at it. Like we have a maid and robots that vacuum, so I suck at this. So I've just been really kind of bored, but I did a lot of work today. I did a lot of work today on the page, talked to a lot of guests coming up. We got a lot of great, exciting, fun guests coming up. Mm-hmm. And speaking of which, let's just go introduce our guest. I went and watched some of your videos today. I got to tell you, my favorite was Not Alone. Blooded the Brave here with us. Welcome.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate you being here and appreciate your show and your voices. Thanks for going to check out the music videos. I've been on YouTube for like 10 years. Not Alone's very recent music video.
Okay, so that is one I think if you grew up, if you're at all in the last couple of generations, you could watch that on mute and appreciate it just because of all the 80s symbolism and imagery, and that was really neat. But all of the message throughout all of your videos is really cool, and one obviously we all agree with here.
Thank you. That Not Alone is on my synthwave album as Kyle Reese. I have him on cassette tape.
I love it.
I have chapter 1. Kyle Reese comes from 1984. That's me. I came to give life to the real resistance. I came back in time from 1984 to save Sarah Connor and give life to the resistance. But my friends call me Kyle Reese, and I'm obsessed with the 80s. At my first 80s tape, I actually rapped over 80s like Depeche Mode and Love is a Battlefield in like 2007.
Wow.
And then in 2011, I found the synthwave genre, which is like, you guys should look it up if you know what synthwave is. It's like the most inspirational, like just it sounds like 80s, 90s music. And I was like, I'm rapping over this. And a lot of the producers were like, how are you going to do that? And I'm like, oh, I can do this. Because it's all just, there's really no vocals on synthwave. And I've released 2 albums now with like some of the world's biggest synthwave producers who are so cool, and they just love making people feel good in the 80s vibes. And I'm all about that.
That was a fun video to watch for sure.
Thank you. There's a couple as Kyle Reese on there. I appreciate it.
I will have to check out more. So how long have you been doing this?
Since like 2000, since 1999, 2000. I was battle rapping and 99, 2000, 2001. we were rapping. Me and my boys were rapping since like in 1999 we started, and I was battle rapping like until 2003, and then I released my first mixtape in 2003 or 4, and then I just kept doing it on my own, and we were doing shows 2005, 6, 7, 8, and then I released my first album on iTunes in 2011. My first single on iTunes in 2010, I think. But yeah, I just dropped my 10th studio album, Sovereign Soldier, produced by my original DJ. We've been working on it years, and I hadn't been able to make music for a couple years because I've been sick. And this year we finished it, and I just released it like a month ago. And it's all about being your own free sovereign soldier, because we're all in a battle for our minds and souls to be the sovereign individuals we are.
And that's Fuck the Blue Line's on Sovereign Soldier,
Yes.
right?
Fuck the Blue Line is on there. Yes.
That
That's
was
my
another good
second
one Saturday.
music video from the album, and we're about to drop the third, Babylon Step Back. And yeah, I have that song Man Down, which is basically fuck the police.
Mhm.
And that's my biggest video on YouTube. And Fuck the Blue Line was my follow-up to it. And people were very angry about that one. I am very surprised, actually. It's only got like 1,200 views on YouTube. And I think which was the point, which was to, if they're coming at me, you know, and my family and your family and threatening our lives, I'm not threatening them. But if someone, you know, wishes ill will on me and mine, then, you know, it's going to happen. But
Man,
yeah.
I think it's sad that a piece like Fuck the Blue Line, like it's, guys, just, you really seriously, if you're watching, and go check it out, check out the video, listen to the lyrics.
Thank
It's
you.
badass, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's sad that people are coming at you over that, because it highlights the level of cognitive dissonance that's surrounding us, right? People seriously think that the cops are there to help them.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
what the
bad.
fuck?
I just use like that song in my lyrics and these interviews, and a chance to let people know about accountability, because they don't understand it. They think I'm, you know, anti everything, and I'm really just pro freedom and the free market. And you can't hold the police accountable now because they have a monopoly on violence. So this is just not how it should be done. There are other ways to do it. Walmart has their own security. Disney World has their own security. It's really not that complicated. And that's like my message in those songs. But I think it was the hook and how the song starts. People were just offended. So
Can
whatever.
I play devil's advocate for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
I worked at Walmart, and I don't think I'd ever want any of those security people there to have any kind of authority either.
Right.
But don't you think they would have better security if we didn't live in a paramilitary police state? Because we do.
Yeah, so you're not wrong. I'm just saying, if we get our stateless society, the first thing I want to advocate for is for Walmart to get some better security.
Fuck that shit, man. I'll protect myself. Just get out of my way and don't take my gun.
That's the first rule of being sovereign, is you protect what you own and love, which is your life and your property. But
so I don't think there's a way out of talking about this because it just happened, but I just got to say real quick, I am stupidly proud of Dan for all the shenanigans he got up to in Virginia this weekend.
Right?
Hell yes.
Proud.
Did you see any of that, dude?
I got a lot to say about that, but they all went and it was cool. It was successful, but I watched a lot of my friends who live streamed and they jammed all their signals. I mean, did you guys see that? You couldn't watch anything.
Yeah, Dan was able to get through, but it was splotchy even for him. And he's got some pretty high tech, you know, he does a mobile podcast, so he's got some high tech shit.
Right, because
he managed to get a taxation as theft magnet on the Virginia State Patrol's tank.
That's awesome.
And Alex Jones's InfoWars tank. He had one for both of them.
That's awesome. That is so great. Yes.
I know. Of course they jammed it. Of course they jammed it. What they don't want is people all over the country going, fuck yeah, man. They've got it right. That's what we should do. And then doing it there. So of course they're going to jam it.
Yeah. I have, I've come a long way because I used to go to protests. I went to New York, you know, on 9/11 anniversaries. Me and my buddies risked our lives countless times. And we do not do that anymore. After they put us in a free speech zone, we all looked at each other and they pointed AR-15s at our face. We were like, who are we appeasing to? Like, wait a minute. So what they did yesterday was cool because they were, armed, and they were like, nothing's going to happen. And it was peaceful. And a lot of people said they felt more safe there than anywhere else because of the amount of guns, which is true. I mean, no one's going to act like an idiot if people are armed. That's right.
Dude, I always feel safest at a gun show or a range.
Yep, me too.
Always, always.
Yeah, people don't get that. They really don't. They just don't understand that.
It's funny because on Twitter, there's always, you're going to get the fucking blue check mark Nazis on there.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you guys must feel really afraid to need all those guns. It's like, or I have all these guns, so now I don't.
Now I don't feel afraid.
Or the other one, and I actually made a post about this. It's the left is always like, we need to not body shame until they start talking about guns, and then it's automatically, what, do you have a small penis?
I love those because I jump right in and I'm like, yes, I have the smallest penis and I'm a very small person and I can literally defend myself against no one. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take up the Great Equalizer. Thank you very much.
Yes, that's right. That's right. No, it was good. It was good to see. For me, my own problem that I had with it is I don't like no flag or piece of paper gave anybody their freedom. We were all born free. And to see all those great people there do what they did and then break out in song and sing their oppressor's song just grossed me out beyond belief.
Yeah.
And that's to be expected. There's a lot of statism involved in the Second Amendment because they think that piece of paper gave them the right to defend themselves.
Right. Not
but
that
the piece of
paper. The piece of paper is a piece of paper. It's not any different
that's right.
than the receipt you got at fucking Walmart, man.
Right.
Governments do not grant rights.
That's
Only
right.
individuals can possess rights. Individuals can come together as a collective and grant rights which they possess to a government entity. What we can't do is grant rights to an invisible pretend entity, because that's what government is, that we ourselves don't possess. So therefore, get the fuck out of here. You're going to come and take some of my shit. Any of my shit.
That's right. Tell him, girl. I like it.
Fucking hide and watch, motherfucker. I got some shit for you.
Yes. No, it was a shame that you couldn't see a lot of the people streaming. That part really stunk. But a lot of people were still donating on YouTube to the people that went, which was cool. There was a lot of support. It was good.
What I'm hoping in the next couple of days is people were just taking old school film or whatever, storing digital video and not live streaming inside the thing so we can get to see some of the speeches, because it was only like an hour long, the speech part.
You said old school film, and now I'm thinking like we're gonna go in to a movie theater in a couple days and watch the footage on like a projector with the actual film.
Dude, it's gonna fucking be The Man in the High Castle, Second Amendment edition.
Yes.
No, I'm talking like memory cards.
35mm black and white glossies.
Now they jammed the signals, so I was telling people in the chat the best thing to do is to do like radio. I mean, because I don't necessarily need to see the pictures. I just want to hear. There's something beautiful about hearing like that's why podcasts are popular again. It's just people don't think that you can still use some of the technology that was out there.
What's funny is we're seeing this increase in signal jam, right? It's not just this event. It's happening all the time. And we're seeing an increase in this happening right at the same time that we're seeing the government come out and start producing massive propaganda that's anti-ham radio. So keep your ham radios, keep those operator licenses. If you don't have one, you've never operated one, find a fucking class, find somebody to teach you. It's cool as shit. And you will never experience that kind of freedom anywhere else. So ham radio operators, props to you.
True.
Real quick, so at the 15-minute mark, I want to say a couple things. First off, if you like what we're bringing to you, please give us a share and potentially consider supporting us on any of the places you can support us. We have a Venmo, we have Subscribe Star, all that stuff. But also, I want to give a huge shout out, and I have no idea who this is, but someone is watching us on Twitch. Thank you, one person on Twitch. You're our first real Twitch watcher.
Yay! Drop us an email, man. We'd like to sign a card, send you something. We've got some stickers. They're
That's
not
awesome.
fancy, but they're not fancy because we're broke, so give us money. But definitely drop us an email or find us on Facebook.
Find us on Facebook. Drop me a chat. We'll get you some stickers.
So, since we're talking about guns, and we're not getting our normal question here. What is your favorite gun? What's your bug out gun?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Is my mic going out?
I don't think so. Is he frozen?
Sorry, are we here? Am I
Hey,
here?
you're here. We're good.
Yep.
There it goes.
Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, my favorite chopper, because I got that New Orleans hip hop lingo. My favorite chopper is the AK-47, hands down.
It's a solid choice. I find that
That's my personal.
I'm more accurate on an AK-47 than an M16, and I have no idea why that is.
That's probably my thing too. I just like the power of it.
Yeah,
and,
I think that's probably true for me.
It's very durable too. My older brother is really the one who taught me all I know about any of that stuff, and he convinced me to get mine because if it's raining, if it's nasty out, like, you know, it will work.
Dre, you just kind of got a new one, didn't you?
I did. John got me a nice birthday present. It is an AR-15 pistol.
Oh, that's awesome.
According to the ATF, it's a pistol.
That's
So
awesome.
It's a pistol. It's a pistol that shoots 223.
It shoots 300 blackout.
Nice. Oh man, I need that.
Remember, I don't like guns. What do we?
They're like this. It's cool. I have 30 round mags and a 30 round fully loaded. The whole entire thing weighs 4.5 pounds.
Oh man.
Someday I will have my dream pistol. Someday.
But this is my everyday carry, my Glock 42 380.
That's awesome.
I want a Detonix Combat Master that you can't even fucking find. But if anybody finds one and wants to gift me one, we'll be lifelong friends.
Look, I'm just saying, after the videos from that rally came out, I really want that fucking taking out aircraft gun that dude from New York went down there with.
You need a Laws rocket.
Oh my god, the thing that weighed 40 pounds. Or
You
whatever.
want the 50 cal?
Yes.
Claymores.
You got to have a 50 cal.
People should start like embracing the Claymore. The Claymore is a good weapon.
Are we talking about the landmine or
the
the
landmine?
landmine, yes. Yeah.
I have a claymore if we're talking swords.
No. The landmine.
I'll just I'll leave the rest of this conversation, but yeah, I'm gonna second what you said about the claymore. Yep.
So Justin's here. We can start now, and that means we can ask our most important question.
Oh, who wants to ask it? Not me.
Not me.
Okay, so Mr. Guest, Mr. Blooded the Brave, how do you feel about nuclear power?
Good question. Nuclear power. From what I've looked into, and I'm telling you, I'd rather talk about the fringe than the norm, because I personally don't. And you can go back. I mean, okay, so if in 1853 everyone in the Midwest is finding giants in the ground when they're digging up their farms, you know, and it's on record, 13 feet tall, people found this stuff. And that's just one topic that has been swept under the rug that we don't know about, that they hide from us. Why can't we at least look into what some people claim about nuclear power, that it is cleaner, that it's better, and that it's safer? Because there's some evidence that it is. I mean, what about the guy who swam in the tank? I mean, you guys know about him?
You're gonna get Justin. One of our watchers is Justin O'Donnell, who's on the LNC, and his religion at this point is converting people to the glories of nuclear power.
I don't know if he's wrong, man. I really don't know if he's wrong. I bring this up when people want to get technical, and they're like, really? And I get them to look into it, and they talk to me a couple of days later, and they're like, well, you know, and I'm like, you know, microwaves are bad. Like, everyone has a microwave in their house, but it ruins the food you eat. It's not healthy for you, but everybody has a microwave. But we can't talk about nuclear power. And, you know, it's just like, I live in the upside down. I know it's the upside down. Everything's inverted. I know how they operate. So when they say something's bad, it usually might need to be looked into as being good. Just saying.
I mean, everybody's got a fucking Alexa in their house. Did you motherfuckers not read 1984?
Thank you.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I want to fuck with Dre, but she's wearing her headphones, so I don't think it would work.
You can't do it.
I mean,
it's upside down. It's all backwards. What's up is down. What's right is wrong, and what's wrong is all around. That's one of my songs, The Upside Down.
Nice. So, Justin, that was a Barrett M82 50 cal anti-material rifle. Military snipers won't even use it because it's too cumbersome and slow. That is part of the reason. The other part is people get really pissed off when we blow someone up with it. Apparently, you can kill someone in a war zone, but if you kill them with a 50 cal, that's a crime against humanity. I would say about everything we're doing right now is a crime against humanity, and possibly that's a weird one to me. Like,
dude, in a war zone, scavenging in a war zone is a violation of the Geneva Convention. If the four of us are deployed tomorrow and we're in a war zone and we're in a Hummer, and for some reason we blow out a fucking tire and we pull a tire off another downed vehicle that does not belong to us and get our ass out of fire, we're going to be court-martialed because we've just violated the Geneva Conventions. We can be imprisoned for scavenging. More likely, they'll do what they did to me and strip all your rank and make you a broke motherfucker. But I'm telling you, because I know this is a violation.
So Elfie's like, we don't have a wiretap, thanks. Not getting one either. Bitch, we have a smart TV. We have a
You got a wiretap.
Yeah,
you got wiretaps in your phone, in your pocket.
We all do. We all do. We all do, that's for sure.
Turn that shit off, like unplug shit, turn shit off when you go to sleep, when you're not using it.
It's always cute when I get those warnings from AVG that's like, do you want us to tell you if your camera can be hacked? It's like, bitch, I know that thing's been hacked, okay? You don't need to waste my time with this.
Do you not use stickers?
No, I figure if the FBI wants to see me sitting here topless with my man boobs hanging out, they can knock themselves out. I don't care.
Nah, fuck that shit. If they're gonna listen in on one of my cam shows, they're gonna pay like everybody else.
There you go. There you go. I love it.
So, trying to reset here a little bit. Oh, Jesus, someone take over.
Uh-oh, it's hitting them.
Okay,
it's kicking in.
So really, when I listen to your music, we've got all kinds of different genres when we're talking about rap, and yours doesn't really fit. Doesn't really fit any of the kind of accepted genres. So do you have like, I mean, what do you call it?
I love that. Well, I'm a rapper. I mean, that's what I call it. But yes, I am not. It's funny. There's a lot of famous dudes who've kind of done what I've done. But yeah, no genre. I'm genreless. I call it just lyrical freedom, vibes of spiritual freedom and self-ownership, and, you know, helping people feel good, uplifting and empowering others. That's my music, is speaking for truth and hope in a world of doubt and deception. But yeah, I mean, it's rap because I'm rapping, but I'm really just spoken word, you know, giving soul over beats.
So it truly is liberty rap.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And it's liberating rap. Yes.
I dig it.
It's really good shit.
Thank you very much. But it's, it hasn't been, I mean, it's me. It's who I am. I never really had to like try, but thank God I had friends who we all were out of the box and we think freely, because that's the only way we ever started writing. That's why we started writing, was to get our, you know, how we felt out. And our heroes were like, almost like just straight up gangster rappers. But along came Master P. If you guys know who he is, do you guys know who he is? 1998, No Limit Soldiers. Well, we loved him because it was all real high energy. But then we started hearing his interviews and we're like, oh my God, this dude's trying to tell us you can make anything happen no matter what if you work at it. and you believe in yourself, and you don't talk about another person, and you don't worry about another person's business. You just become independent and own your own business and your own life. So like that really influenced a lot of my friends and our mentalities of like, we always try something new. We try and go get it. You should be proud of being able to go work. You should be proud of being able to contribute and, help your family and help your friends. And so it's a good message, but I get a lot of flack for what I talk about because I touch on the real, but that's what I talk about is real stuff. We all go through.
Rap's traditionally has done that. That's kind of what rap is about, right? It was about getting really honest and having those conversations.
Things.
Right.
Uncomfortable things. Yep. The uncomfortable truth. Why be? Yeah. Yep. I mean, the first line I heard when I was a kid was like broken glass everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God. And they're talking about, the troubles in this. And I'm like, you know what? And it helped me see that the world was bigger than where I lived. And I started to grow. I was always, it helped my compassion expand to people living in struggle. And so like my music is all about the struggle. Because you can live and have nice things, but we still struggle, and we struggle to get those things. And not everyone, most people don't have, water and the things we take for granted. So it's like, I'm always thinking about those people. I'm real spiritual. So like, I know some people, anarchists, aren't into all of that, but I'm big into, the spiritual growth of the person, like making mistakes. I put up a post today about how are we going to grow without making mistakes? Just because you messed up, don't be too hard on yourself, because that's how we grow. As long as you remember that mistake and grow from it, stuff like that. Like, because we all go through it.
Well,
I've always said that it's like iron, and this is like the one thing I really take away from still being, kind of a Christian, is that where the Bible starts talking about iron sharpening iron, part of that is people sharpening each other, but a lot of it is just life makes you sharper if you let it.
Yes. If you learn, we're here to. I talk about that in those synthwave songs. Is we're here to learn and grow. I'm always saying that. Because we can all get mad at people who don't understand the message of freedom, but that doesn't really do us that much good if we don't put ourselves in their shoes and remember how brainwashed they are since they were a kid, 5 years old in a school. Right. We're all told that we need to thank these people for setting us free. So it's not necessarily all their fault. It's time to grow up when they become older and be an adult and start thinking and learning about yourself and your true freedom. And that's what we all do. Like you guys in your show, it's awesome. If we're not out there helping people, give them the key to unlock their mind, this world is not going to change. I think it's changing, and I think it's changing big time since 2000. I mean, that's the funny thing about 9/11. We go there, but they did what they did, and they gave the world the boogeyman, and they put everyone in perpetual fear. Well, they also unlocked a lot of people like us who were like, no, we're not going to let this happen. And then everybody started seeking and learning and questioning stuff. And now the more you do that, the more they say you're crazy. And they say you're crazy because they are afraid of people learning on their own and discovering, and questioning things in general, question everything.
Well, we're big believers here at the show that affecting culture is really the way to make that change, right? We look back at the music of the 60s and 70s. It's really easy to see how that anti-war, anti-political statement kind of music affected culture. I think that gets kind of overshadowed in the 80s and 90s, and it's a shame because the majority of the music that I was listening to in the 80s and the 90s, even current shit, was anti-political. It was revolutionary. It was anti-war. I mean, it's really easy to go, oh yeah, I love the beat in this, but stop for a fucking minute.
Listen to what they're saying. I know, especially in 80s music, people don't.
Everything Crowded House ever fucking did.
They don't get it, man. I love the 80s because it's like, I think it's Silent Running. Mm-hmm. Can you hear me? I mean, he straight up says in that song, he's talking about giving a gun to his kid and hiding from nationalism and flags. I mean, he's talking some real gangster shit in that song. And it's like it went over their head. Like,
whew. It was almost too subliminal. I think the melodies and the harmonies almost kind of got to people. It was fun to dance to, man.
Yeah.
It definitely went over my head at the
Now,
time.
The good thing is, though, what I've learned with my synthwave music and in general is like, and a lot of my buddy, he's a videographer. We all really learned like the art of propaganda. So it's good to give them a beat to make them feel. And then they're like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, my God. What did he just say? And it's like, there you go. Like,
I think that was the difference with the music of the 80s and 90s, right? It was kind of a slow burn into your mind. Like for me at the time, Dre, for you at the time, we were this, man, I love this song. This is great. We knew all the words, had no fucking clue. But then you turn 30, right? You wake up and you go, holy fuck.
What were they saying? Yeah.
I get it. Shit. So it's a slow burn there. Hopefully your stuff will be a faster burn.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
I'm sure it will, especially with your lyrics.
I love
they're
it.
just front and center, and especially with your imagery. I love the imagery in your videos. Whoever is putting them together is amazing.
Right here, I do it all. Oh my God! I have no nothing.
Production crew.
No, it's all.
Hey man, we've got some video production and intern slots open if you're interested.
It's all me.
Shit, but you get to hang out with us.
Now here's what we do.
That's all the pay you should need.
Here's what we do in life. If we don't know how to do something, we figure it out on our own. And I had a buddy who was with me in the beginning, all this stuff. Well, he started shooting weddings and he would come over and he's like, we got to make a music video. And I'm like, all right. So he made one, he made a couple. And then he told me on the second one, he's like, you got to edit it now. You got to learn. And so I had no choice but to learn. And here I am 18 years later and I can edit like Hollywood on their programs. And he gave me the key. He told me, and then he told me to get my own camera a couple of years ago. And he's like, now you got to shoot them on your own. And I'm like, I can't shoot myself. He's like, you can do it. He's like, you can do anything. He's like, I'll come help you. And I have my nephews and my nieces. They're in a lot of my videos and they help shoot, or they play in my Freedom video. They play Hillary and Trump. They got the mask.
Nice.
Yeah. And then my little niece, she walks by reading a Rise of the Fourth Reich book by Jim Mars. Like, I just put little stuff like that in there and it's fun. It's great.
That's awesome.
Oh, my man. All right. You guys, this is a great man.
So actually, I learned how to do video editing the same way. It was, I wanted to do some video stuff for the state Libertarian Party, and we didn't have anyone that could do it. So it's like, I will figure it the fuck out. And about 3 hours of YouTube later, I edited my first video and it was fucking terrible. But and look, they're still terrible because I don't put a ton of effort into learning the editing side. I do just enough to get this podcast into the ether. So
that's all it takes. And YouTube, and like, I didn't go to school. I've learned. I still, if I can't shoot, if I can't edit, or if when I was sick, or I'll be on YouTube watching an expert teach me a little trick. Like always trying to learn and stay ahead of the curve.
Yep. I mean, we're all here because Raptor said, hey guys, I want to do a podcast. And Dre and I were like, okay, we love you, so we'll do it. What do we need to do? And he's like, go get this and this and this.
Yeah, that's
Here
it.
we are.
Yeah. I mean, after I dropped my, I remember one of my final battle raps I was in, it was real crazy. Some people still remember it. When we were battle rapping, you might die on stage for saying the wrong thing about someone. Like Eminem 8 Mile, I was battle rapping before that. He was in one of the tournaments I was in Indianapolis. And I really didn't know what I was doing, but I just like to talk that shit about someone. And, but I remember the final one, I was like, if I like this so much, why am I not recording these and releasing them? And then I just looked into like, what do I need? And some guy helped me and he was like, you need this, this, and this. And you figure it out as you go on. And now I mix and master people's music on my own. I take their vocals and I make them studio quality. And you learn it on your own.
So I want to throw this out for anyone who wants to learn how to record vocal tracks, record off of a soundboard, anything. It's all you need right here.
We have that.
Yep. Zoom is the one we got. Zoom is a great company. So what happens is you can plug this into a soundboard and record off of it. There's the who we're having on Thursday, Smoke Break. We're actually planning on doing some live video and audio recording at some of their shows. so that they can have more music videos for their shit.
That's what you need right there. You take that device and we plug that into the camera, and we could take the audio from when we go film somewhere. If you plug it into the soundboard. Also, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because we've been doing some live events here in Omaha. We have some friends who are getting into comedy, and some do music, and we try to host those events, and getting everything to work together has never fucking worked. So somebody just bought that for us.
That's the perfect thing. That will change everything for you. And you're in Omaha. I'm coming and I'm killing the stage.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
look, man, if you're watching tonight, if you're listening to us, we're really into kind of the culture. So if you have an art festival, if you have a music festival, if you have something coming up where you would like us to come and broadcast, reach out and we'll work some stuff out.
If you have an adult video awards show that has press passes,
we
we
will
are
be
there.
in. Yeah, absolutely.
We love to travel. Let us know.
I love
We'll
it.
work something out.
I'll come and perform with you guys.
So
Awesome.
yeah, at some point, probably in the summer, because Scott can only really do gigs when it's summertime. Scott is one of our team members. He's not on the podcast as much, but he does the news for us a lot. He's in a kind of a metal band, like I don't know how you hard rock band.
Hard rock metal band.
Yeah.
So he does that, and then we're trying to get a concert with him, and then Smoke Break, which is our Thursday guest. And if you can make it into town, man, I would like to put you on that ticket too.
You got to let me know. Because right before I got sick, I had shows. I was trying to go to Europe, and I had a little bit of a tour in my mind, and it was lining up, and then I got sick and it all went away. But the synthwave guys, they're all usually in Europe. And my buddy who just commented, Cleve Morris, he produced track 2 on my Escape from LA album. It's like one of the best songs I've ever. He's down in South America, so it's like I just want to like go be around culture and people, travel. That's the gift in life, is people. They're the real gift. Learning from others. I just want to go around and be around new people, experience new food, and learn and grow, like we were talking about.
Dude, you should come hang out with us at the Libertarian National Convention in Austin Memorial Day weekend. It's going to be a good time.
We will all be there tabling.
I've never been to Austin, Texas.
Me neither.
Alex Jones don't want me down there. No.
Hey, if Alex Jones wants to come by our booth at the National Convention, we'd be happy to have a conversation with him. Come on by, Alex.
He's pretty friendly to libertarians.
I'm down with vintage Alex Jones. The Alex Jones everybody's afraid of. I prefer the Alex Jones.
I mean, look, clearly he's like upside down guano crazy. Dude's batshit crazy, but we will hang out with you even if you're batshit crazy for a minute.
I personally want to hear more about
right?
pedophile space vampires. Okay.
Yeah, I want to hear the weird.
That is a porn waiting to happen. There's an untapped market for that shit.
Can we avoid the pedo part of that though?
Well, yeah, but I think we should cross the space vampires with, I don't know, some kind of an arachnid or a pterodactyl. And
look, I already saw the weird spider girl porn, and that was terrible.
That spider porn is crazy. You've got to check out the pterodactyl porn, though. It's even worse.
No way.
Justin wants to know if we're getting an Airbnb together.
Dude, we only got our tickets like 3 weeks ago. We are fucked on the hotel. I don't know where me and John are going to stay.
We need to do an Airbnb or something, but there are several groups that are doing them. So
let's find a spot. I'll perform, and you guys can do your live podcast.
Hell yeah,
live.
But yes, you are welcome to come to Nebraska anytime, and especially this summer. It'll be nice and hot. You'll get to experience Nebraska nice and.
Awesome. I got my family's from Kansas.
Nice.
We're big Kansas City Chiefs fans.
I'm really sorry.
I live in Indianapolis.
We're talking about eventually doing a big Liberty Music Fest in Kansas. So
let's go. The story is my mom and dad are from Kansas. They moved to Indianapolis and they adopted their first 3 children, and I'm the 3rd one. And then when my mom was 40, she had my little brother as a gift, I guess, for adopting all of us. So my family's real eclectic, but we're really cool because we all are like, they're our real mom and dad. They adopted us, and but my older brother's the one who got me into music. He was in a metal band when I was a kid, and so I'd be in the garage all the time, and I loved rap, because it was the 80s and they were just straight Metallica, you know, but I loved that energy, that feel that they loved. And so that's where you get some of my music where I can go off, and some of the aggression is my metal background.
Well, and in the late 80s and early 90s, we started to see metal and rap kind of mesh, right? We had multiple artists choosing to work together, kind of blending that sound and creating that whole darker rap sound, which is really cool.
Which is really big now. I mean, like Tech Nine, that heavy rap. One of my favorite groups.
Fucks with me. One of the guys that I was deployed with, like we were on a missile crew together, he would listen to him all the time, and every time he has a song where it's basically him talking about a gang initiation, and the dude in the song has to like shoot someone, and it ends up being like his mom or something.
Yeah.
It's like that fucks with me on levels I can't deal with.
Yeah. Some of that I prefer, like the grimy New York 90s, Mobb Deep, DMX, like, you know, that
Outkast and
Gangstar, the beat comes on and your head just starts nodding, and it makes you almost like you just feel alive, or you want to work out, or you're like, what's that guy doing over there? And you start questioning everything around you. I like that.
Yeah, the old NWA shit.
Yeah, But speaking of that music and what you mentioned with the 60s, I don't know if I'm free to talk about it, but that is actually one of my favorite topics, and why my album was called Escape from LA is because you got to run from your icons in Hollywood, And I always knew, you guys know, most of these people are planted, and, you know, they're not really our friends. Like, if you're famous and you stay famous, you're probably there for a reason, serving the evil empire. But the 60s, if we can, I'm going to tell you guys a crazy stat, and I tell everybody about this, and I talk about it in the intro of that album. But Laurel Canyon, Los Angeles, you guys know where that is? That's where it all happened, with the 60s, where all the bands, and and
it was it looked kind of accidental. It was kind of weird.
Nothing
quite like that had happened anywhere ever before, right?
Nothing happens by accident, and
and at the time that it started to build, really the epicenter of music at the time was not California.
No, it wasn't.
It had nothing to do with
music. It had nothing to do with
music. Was all New York, right? California was all Hollywood, and music was all New York. And bands, even like the Mamas and the Papas, were late. They were late. They didn't go. Everybody else is going to California, right?
So at that same time, AM and FM radio was being born.
Yep.
You couldn't hear out of two ears. There was a whole, the Bernays, the propaganda, all that stuff was about to come full circle. So what they did, and they had their war going on, and they needed a counter opposition. And it's like, I feel bad saying it to people because it crushes their idols. But hey, my idols are probably not good people, and so you learn to not trust them. But okay, so all of those bands in Laurel Canyon didn't just happen by chance. Nope. If you look into it, their parents and their uncles were all in the military. Aunts and uncles, and it's just so weird. And then you get, what's his face, the killer down there,
Manson.
Yeah, Manson was friends with all of them. But here's the one that'll blow your mind. Jim Morrison, his dad, nobody knows, but it's true now. So if you look up the book, I'll look up the book, but it's Laurel Canyon, the Nightmares in Laurel Canyon. But Dave McGowan is the author. He just died 2 years ago at 54 years old. He went through and did all the research on all of them. Jim Morrison's dad was the commanding captain of the boat that started the Gulf of Tonkin incident.
Okay.
He started the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
Jim Morrison's dad. And Jim Morrison was, I am anti-war. I am this and that. And they'd ask him about his parents all the time. And he said they didn't exist. They weren't alive. I don't know them. Blah, blah, blah. Da, da, da. And he would never talk about his parents. Maybe he really hated his dad for starting the war and all that, but who knows?
Yeah, maybe he was really anti-war.
Yeah.
He is one of the...
That makes sense if he, because he was At that time, it was counterculture to be anti-war. It was punk to be anti-war. So
yeah,
it would make sense for him to disown his parents in his own
rebel.
mind.
Yeah, but there was no. But here's the thing: there was no anti-war. It didn't exist. They started that. That was.
I mean, I disagree. There was anti-war. It just wasn't what it appeared to be. Right?
In the 50s, there was no anti-war.
No. But in the late 60s, early 70s, there was some anti-war coming on, and
you know about the psychedelics and the Grateful Dead and the acid, and the government being involved.
Yeah, sure, the government was involved.
Yeah,
but not all of it. We know as liberty-minded individuals, probably better than anybody else, that all of these things that governments like to do have these unintended consequences that they rarely plan for. And I do believe that a huge part of the anti-war movement that grew out of that, that was one of those unintended, unexpected consequences, right? What the government wanted to do was to control people, but they chose to use things like MDMA, which does not allow them to control you. I mean, their science was bad.
They created the counterculture, and the counterculture made people docile. And I'm sorry, but they weren't passing out information on how to clean your guns. They were telling people to lay down and be bums.
But not all of them were. Not all of them were. You got to look. There was a split. There was a split in that music, and there was a split, right? And it tended to be a New York, California split.
Do you know that the Mamas and the Papas and all them weren't even bands? Like, none of them were really talented. They had no skill.
Well, the Mamas and the Papas were already recording, but the deal was like everybody that they kind of knew was talking about this LA thing, right?
Yeah.
Let's go to LA. Let's go to LA. Let's go to LA.
Yeah.
And John Phillips said, "Fuck that. We're not fucking going."
Yeah.
That's not us. That's not what we're doing. The song California Dreamin', that's where that came from.
Yes.
Don and Michelle had a fight because she wanted to go to California where all their friends were. And he said, fuck that shit. That's not us. That's not what we're about. It's fake and it's not real. And we need to stay here. And so he wrote California Dreamin'. That's where that came from.
To wrap it up, the day that Jim Morrison died, in quotation marks, because I'm here to tell you I don't know anything and I don't believe anything. Guess what happened the day he died? His boat, his daddy's boat that started the Vietnam War, was decommissioned.
Yep.
The same exact day. Dun dun dun. Who knows?
That is weird.
That is weird.
Means they took it out of service.
Took it out of it. The mission was accomplished.
It gets put into the scrapyard.
Yep. So I mean, you hear those theories about him and his dad, and he was like an actor. He didn't really have singing skills. He was a great writer, they say, Jim. Probably like me, like that's the thing. I wonder, like, if rap was around then, like those lyricists like that. Oh, that'd be beautiful.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, that would be my favorite because I can't really sing, and you know some of those guys couldn't, but they're amazing writers, like Axl Rose. Great lyrics, like I love that.
Yeah, I mean Axl Rose has great lyrics, but then he beats the shit out of his girlfriend.
Right.
So, huge trash person.
Wasn't that like the whole point? Wasn't that the whole point of Stairway to Heaven? Not Stairway to Heaven.
The Sweet Child of Mine is what you're talking about. Well, he was huge before then. Largely, yeah.
I need to go listen to these fucking lyrics.
Yeah, right.
I mean, none of those lyrics are as bad as like some of Motley Crue's lyrics. Like on Girls, especially, right? Like listen to some of the songs on there, and you're gonna be like, "What the fuck? These motherfuckers are psychopaths."
Yeah, but I mean, who knows if all that stuff that we were fed in the 80s and 90s, I mean, look at hip hop. Hip hop was getting ready to change the world, Afrocentrism. They were preaching power to the self, knowledge of the self. And then gangster rap came out. And then Dr. Dre wasn't even really making that type of music. And then, Eazy-E is with Jerry Heller, who is, I don't know if you know anything about that, but who knows? All I'm saying is I don't get down with, I've never liked certain artists who are big. I don't support them. I don't know. I'm not a hater, but I can see through their agenda. Like Kanye West. What's going on with Kanye West? No one understands it, but I'll tell you what it is. He was making songs with Jay-Z and made an album and all that stuff, and their videos were very occultish, and they were pandering to people like me who were saying the music industry exposed is a nightmare. And so they were like mocking it and making fun of it, and they were putting Baphomet and all that crazy stuff in their videos. And then Kanye goes on a rant and says, the radio's trash. TV is trash, and he's live at his show, and the next day they take him to mental institution.
Yeah, that's crazy.
By force. By force.
Same shit even before that with metal bands. It's like the shit that happened with the Black Crowes, right?
Yeah.
So Chris stands up and there's this huge banner, right? Budweiser is a huge sponsor of the tour. And he's like, fuck this shit. This music is not brought to you by Budweiser. This music is brought to you by motherfucking me. I wrote this shit.
Yeah.
And the tour's canceled and the band breaks up. And the next thing you know, everybody's talking about how he's fucking crazy and shit. He's lost Sid Barrett, back with old Pink Floyd, same shit.
I got a question for you from Nathan Hammond. What do you think about Mac Dre, Fizz, and all the stuff coming out of the Bay Area?
The Bay's awesome. E40, shout out to the Bay. Shout out to Little Debbie. I love the Bay. The West Coast vibes, who couldn't love them, man? Like when it comes to any genre of music, it's so beautiful out there. So they make great music, especially in hip hop. Like in the Bay, I've never been there. I got a buddy out there. I'm supposed to go this summer and shoot a music video. So I don't know. Maybe I'll be there. But yeah, there's legends in the Bay. Too Short. I had Too Short tapes. I had to hide in Don Henley cassette tapes because my parents would, freak out if they saw it. And but yeah, Too Short and Eazy-E were me and my buddies' guilty pleasures. That where we just were like, we felt so. Everybody wants to be bad, but without hurting anyone, and we weren't hurting anyone. We were just listening to so-called bad music, and it was liberating.
Yeah, but that bad music, when you get down and dig and look back at the roots of it, right? You're talking about a genre that truly changed everything. Band. The first time that, like, in my lifetime, we had seen artists banned right?
in the USA,
Two Live Crew, right? Like, this shit is coming down. And then it led to the rise of the PMRC, Tipper Gore, and her Parents' Musical Rights Coalition, and all that fucking nonsense.
Do people remember that when they go out?
Black and white label.
That was like one of the
parental advisory.
Dude, one of the first protests I went to was an anti-PMRC rally in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
I love you. I get down with you. Yes.
I was a kid with like
that's
spikes
awesome.
in my hair and my clothes safety pinned back together.
And it united all of color, religion, or united everyone who was like, free speech. What are you talking about? John Denver came out and, he's the one who spoke out with the dude from Twisted Sister at Congress.
Yeah, with Dee Snider. And like, it
those
didn't matter.
were amazing congressional
they were.
Hearings,
they were.
Right?
I really just saw those recently. I love it.
Like, it didn't matter what genre. Didn't matter, now in high schools, now kids are like, "Ooh, you listen to Bieber, you're weird and shit." When the PMRC came at us, all that shit in my school went away. Man, if you were a Clash fan, if you were a Cure fan, you were hanging out with kids that listen to rap, kids that listen to country. Everybody was coming together, going, "Fuck this shit."
It was the best part, And Luke, shout out to Luke and Two Live Crew. I'm trying to come to Miami and see the Chiefs play. God damn it, I want to be there. But yeah, anyways, I love hip hop and the coast. I love down south New Orleans is real special to me. New York is special. I love Florida rap. The Bay's awesome.
I think that's honestly, so here's my big conspiracy. Since Blooded is with us tonight, and I couldn't say this and maybe have somebody in my corner and not just have everybody going, "Girl, you crazy." I think part of this is why I think we saw a rise in foreign intervention. What was happening, we had gone so long without any kind of war, right? And our generation, actors especially, were starting to see through this corruption and starting to really push back. There was a whole lot of fuck your propaganda shit going on. There was a whole lot of questioning of the government. There was a whole lot of pushing back. We're seeing rallies and protests over shit the government was doing here versus shit that the government's doing somewhere else. And then boom, all of these little offensives start popping up. Panama, Grenada, right? All of these things are popping up. And I think it was there to like shift the focus.
You think that, and are you talking about in the 80s or now?
Late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
All kinds of offenses, right?
Yeah.
It was wag the dog after wag the dog, so that we would shift our focus.
And you know what's real weird is about 80s music is the European artist.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where 80s like pop came from. They were dropping videos about peace and against communism and, uniting people. And yeah,
pro free
it was,
market shit, and it
Yeah.
all gets drowned out now because everybody's at war everywhere with all these little offensives.
yeah, I'm down with it. It's true. First
People,
thing I
people
remember,
don't realize how bad those were, but Bosnia was a fucking nightmare.
it was.
And because we didn't have
Macedonia.
the 24-hour media, and they were sweeping it under the rug at the time. Like, people don't know, but I would say Bosnia has been the worst war since Vietnam by far.
Yeah, and do they
Bosnia,
teach kids about that?
Macedonia, Herzegovina.
And they don't tell kids about that. They don't tell anything. My buddy at work, we were talking. I told him I was going to be on the show and what I do. And we talked about 9/11. And I was like, how old were you? He's like, I was 8. I'm like, so your whole life you've grown up in perpetual fear.
Right.
You know, because you're supposed to be afraid of the boogeyman. I'm like, he's like, I broke out of that. I'm like, yeah, but that's how they targeted you.
Right, because that's how they control you.
Yeah.
From Nathan Hammond again. My friend wants to know your opinion of body count. I guess they were very politically motivated when Ice-T was involved.
Yeah, they made their song "Cop Killer." Ice-T.
Ice-T has always been
So
very
liberty
politically
minded.
outspoken, and
Yes, he is.
Cube's got some new shit out that's really good that everybody should go listen to.
Yeah, I would like to. There's a couple of people I would like to meet. Ice-T is one of them. I think we would have a great time. I bet I could get him to make a song with me. But yeah, I mean, Ice-T is legendary.
I'd love to meet Ice-T.
And he was all about, like, for a dude like me, he was like, don't be anyone but yourself.
Right.
And one of my favorite rappers in Indianapolis, he's a legend forever, DJ Rusty Renbacher. At my like 5th show in 2007, he walked up to me and he was like, you know what you got going for you? You are you. Don't ever be anybody else. And I was like, that's what I learned from you and Ice-T and all you guys. Like, no one's going to listen to me if I'm acting like I'm something I'm not,
Right. Yep. And what an act to have to always put on to act like something.
Well, and like body
tough.
count cards during Ice-T's time with body count, man. Like, I know a lot of people watching, and we say Ice-T, and you only know him from like Special Victims Unit and shit, right?
Yeah,
that dude used to do death metal.
Look, the song that caused the stir, right, was Cop Killer.
Cop Killer.
Yeah,
It was Cop Killer.
And
Cop Killer was like, oh my God, people were losing their fucking shit.
Yeah. Yes, they were.
Justin, I met Method Man once. He gave me brownies. I lost 5 hours.
Hey, man, you got the hookup. We need Method Man on the show. Come on.
The only person from the Wu-Tang
brownies, man.
Only
Quality
person from
brownies.
the Wu-Tang Clan I've met is Ghostface Killah, and he was super cool, super nice guy, super nice guy.
Like, one of my goals is to actually, and I'm a little inebriated, so I'm drawing a blank on the name. Normally, it comes Big Boy.
Yeah. Oh,
Big Boy from Outkast. Big Boy. So
I love Outkast anyway. To me, that's my favorite rap.
How can you not love Big Boy after
probably the best group ever?
After the election story, man.
Right, that election story is epic.
Right, so
I voted for Gary Johnson.
So here's what happened. Yeah, Obama beats Clinton. Right,
tell him the story. Tell him.
And Big Boy's in the airport, and he's walking through, and here comes news media, and they're like, hey, right, and he's pushing everybody off. So he finally gets his terminal, and he's sitting down, and there's like still some news media around, and this guy he's sitting next to says, "You must be happy with this election now that your candidate won." And he said, "My candidate." And he's like, "Well, yeah, you're black, and you must be happy." It was a chick, and he said, "I didn't vote for Obama, bitch. I voted for Gary Johnson."
Yeah, yep, I remember that.
Jesus Christ, the racism.
The racism is disgusting. It's vile.
The force-fed conquer and divide. And
the bigotry of low expectations with these motherfuckers is just off the charts the last 3 years.
Yeah. But I've been telling people in my music since 2008 that was part of their plan, was to conquer and divide. And I think the Trump thing is just part of that too.
You over here.
Yep. Force-fed civil war is their goal, to get us to kill each other without them even having to do anything, because they can't do it. They want us to do it for them.
That's why the media constantly harps on this dichotomy, this false dichotomy between left and right, because it's not about left and right. It's about freedom and tyranny. This is an up-down scale, people. This is not a left and right scale. This left and right shit, it's dilatory. It's a false dichotomy. It's there to distract us and to divide us.
That's true. Very true.
Fucking lightweights.
Sorry, we're just having fun making fun of Elfie over here.
Making fun of Elfie. Make fun of Elfie and Zach. Zach gets 1 THC chocolate and a fruity drink, and he's fucked for a year.
A virgin fruity drink.
I mean, come on. Zach, it's bad when the 2 tiny women who are your co-hosts can smoke you and drink you under the table.
I'm a cheap date. I don't know what's bad about that.
That's a good idea. That's a great point.
So here's the difference. When I went out for my 21st birthday, it was with my cousin. And we were talking about the difference between his ability to drink and mine. And look, so I downplay this quite a bit. I can hold my own if I choose to. I choose to drink fruity drinks because they taste better. But I went drink for drink with him for a while. And he's like, this is where you want to stop. Because you don't want to end up like me, where it takes $150 to get you drunk.
Yeah.
So don't go down that road. And I've kept that advice ever since.
That's good.
Shout out to Trevor, who is the
I think you're taking that to the fucking extreme, though.
I do too. And seriously,
I
I've
can
got
go
a bottle.
to a bar and get 2 drinks and feel great about life. That is a great night.
I've got a bottle of THC infused Everclear that will fuck up Christmas for you with just a shot then.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I need some of that.
Just put me in the corner and
shit.
occasionally give me a lap dance or something. It'll be a good night.
All we gotta do is put like a life-size cardboard stand-up of Hillary Clinton and a feather boa in front of you. You'll think you're getting a lap dance.
That would be horrible.
That reminds me too much of my old.
That video would be badass though.
My old anti-boner. Did I ever tell you guys about how I fought boners as a teenager? Because this is
no.
Oh, I think I remember this vaguely. Tell us again.
So, like, because I didn't go to school, this was more like a youth group problem. Like, I didn't want to be up there playing bass or singing and pop a boner on stage in youth group. That would be terrible. So, my way to fight that was to think of Madeleine Albright naked.
Smart.
And if you don't know who Madeleine Albright is, Google that shit. You'll understand why it was so effective.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
that'll work whether you're gay or straight.
Yes.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. There is no
straight,
sexuality
male,
on
female.
earth besides Madeleine Albright.
Oh my God. Yeah, y'all think Trump's bad. Picture
Who was the
her.
other one? There was Madeleine Albright, and then there was another one that was around the Clinton
Oh,
administration.
yeah. Janet
was
Reno.
just one of the
Janet
lawyers.
Reno.
Janet Reno.
Yes.
Those were my anti-boner
I
ladies.
knew
Oh
she
my
was
God,
involved
dude.
in the
Now you gotta
Clinton impeachment.
In your mind's eye, picture the love child of Madeleine Albright and Janet Reno.
Oh.
Oh, Zach,
No,
I'm
thank
putting
That is
both
one
those
I'm
names.
unfortunate
pro-abortion.
offspring.
Both those names are going on the Would You Rather wheel. They just are.
They got
Dude,
to.
talk about unfortunate looking offspring. Oh, poor kids.
Oh my God.
Prohibition, it works. It's so great. Look at everybody smoking and drinking.
I don't partake of THC because it is not legal in my state.
Same.
What a joke though that they walk around and want to talk about gun violence and protecting neighborhoods and all that, and they won't ever bring up prohibition in their failed crap.
Carrie Nation.
That's created all the gangs, all the kids killing each other.
Prohibition didn't work when God tried it in the fucking Garden of Eden.
Yeah, it'll never work.
I feel like that was actually the point of that story, was to be like, don't ban shit.
Right. That's the
was.
point.
Yeah, it's
That
not.
shit
It
doesn't work.
No, it
Even if
doesn't.
there's just 2 people, it doesn't work.
It doesn't
and only
work.
one of them is supposed to not do something.
Dude,
Yep.
anybody who's been married will tell you that.
It's a joke. But that's one thing that really ticks me off is like in the streets, all the crime, the kids killing each other. It breaks people's hearts. Just legalize it all. I mean, everybody laughed at Dr. Paul when he said it, but guess what? The dude was right.
He was right.
And like the flip side of that is when you're putting all those people in prison, typically they're going to be male, and you have now decimated the male population of a subculture, in this case, typically blacks. And now you have a racial group in America that already fights poverty, already fights a lack of education, and you have taken all of the fathers out.
Yeah, there's
Well,
no doubt.
that was just
And,
that
oh
was
my
the
gosh,
second.
why is all this happening?
Dude,
Why?
that was the second blow. The first blow, like that's the
Yeah, that was the
reason
second blow.
welfare
The first
exists,
blow was welfare for sure.
right?
Yep.
So they came in to
Look how
to
great your
inner
life would
cities,
be.
mostly minorities, and said, "We will help you. We know you're struggling. We will help you. You just have to divorce him. He can't live here, and we will help you." That's what they did, man.
Let us take care of you. We're such good people.
I don't understand. And look, this is going to sound racist because I don't
get
why
I
why
don't understand how black people can vote Democrat.
It's Stockholm
time and time
syndrome.
again.
I don't
It's
get it
Stockholm
either.
syndrome. Your captor has made you dependent on them.
Yes.
It is
Yeah.
psychological. They don't have a choice. It's psychological.
They don't
Yeah.
think they have a choice.
I don't
They
want
They
think
don't
this
think
is
they
the
have a
only
choice,
way.
right? They have a lot of choices, but it's a psychological game. It's the same thing that we saw Trump use, right?
Yeah.
Go back and look over everything he said pre-election. He uses trigger words for PTSD every third word.
Yep. It's
Psychological warfare.
It's all a battle within. That's why I talk about on my new album, Sovereign Soldier. I say that in almost every song. It's a battle within. And it has nothing to do, it really is on ourselves to free our own minds and look at stuff like that. Like, why would they do that? Why would they take away the dads? Why are there 14-year-olds,
Yes,
shooting
Margaret,
each other
that
in the
was.
hood? Why?
It was LBJ's
LBJ.
goal. Look,
Was it his comment to be like it as I'm trying to remember that it was him.
If I do this, I'll have them voting this way for 50 years.
Yep.
right.
Look,
Look,
But I put it way nicer.
yeah.
he used the term darky on a regular basis. Johnson was known for whipping his dick out, physically removing his penis from his clothing during meetings, right? Listen to the shit that Erlinger had to say about Nixon, about Johnson, he was right there. This was all that. The
Done by
attack on
design.
marijuana was to keep down Hispanics.
Look,
The attack on welfare was to keep down African Americans and other minorities. It's what it was about. It's all mind control.
Yep.
I mean, you could argue going back even further that when the country was first founded and they said in order to be allowed to vote, you had to own land. That was targeted as
You had to be white and own land.
Right.
You had to be white and
we
own land
were
because they
considered
didn't
white
want.
to them.
And
Right,
how many
because-
people were considered white back then?
Right,
Yeah,
what they didn't want was Native Americans who were already here having a vote. You had to be
That's
white.
exactly
and a
what you're
landowner.
saying. That's exactly. Yep. That's
They
it.
got to make it so blacks couldn't vote, the Scottish and Irish couldn't vote, the Native
Chinese
Americans
couldn't vote.
People don't understand, like, because everyone else kind of has their own gripe about how America treated them. People don't understand how bad the Chinese had it when they were immigrating.
Worse than anybody.
Arguably,
Worse than
yeah.
anybody.
I mean,
Arguably worse
you could
than
say
anybody.
the Japanese because they got those lovely
internment camps. Yeah.
Everyone has a fucking argument. That is how fucking terrible our government is.
Yep, everybody. Well,
There you go.
Tons,
It's
how many
also
people
the
were
reason why-
slaves here?
Look, it's also the reason why if we're gonna have the conversation about reparations, we all need to just turn to the dude next to him, us, hand him $5 and call it done. Because we're gonna get our same $5 back, but every one of us comes from a culture of oppression.
But hey, the same people who caused this problem are here to help in our solution.
Right.
And keep voting for them and
And
believing
aren't they
in
the best
them.
ones fit
They're
for the
so great.
job?
I know. I want to sing their song while I'm out protesting
geez.
against them.
Sorry, Justin, your comment's too big, so I'm just gonna have to read it.
What was the little poem about the trees kept voting for the axes because the
Yes.
handles were made
Yeah.
of wood?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Justin says prior to running for federal office, Abraham Lincoln was a founding member of the American Colonization Society, which privately funded a venture to purchase territory now known as Liberia, which
Mhm.
kept buying slaves and sending them back to Africa because Lincoln thought blacks didn't even belong here even as slaves.
Right.
Yep.
I am so shocked. I'm so sick of the painting of him as this freer of the slaves, and he did such a
That is
great thing.
Of
So-
all the terrible presidents, that's the worst one in history.
So here's the
Yep.
deal. History is written by the victors.
That's it
Yeah.
right there.
When
Yep.
it comes down to history is written
I
by the
recommend
victors.
everyone out there who's listening to get the book, The Real Lincoln. You'll thank us later.
Yeah.
That book will free your mind. One of the best books I've ever read and given to tons of people.
Also, take the time to Google a show called Assume the Position. And
Is that grabbing your ankles?
Essentially, that's what we do every time we accept anything that the government tells us. We assume the position, right? So, Google the show, assume the position. It will change your life. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It is almost like we're living in controlled demolition, of course.
Yep. That's a good theme
exactly
for a
what
song.
it is.
I like that.
And I think it comes down to like the reason we're in the middle of a culture war is a strong culture will always be stronger than a state. So in order to gain complete control over all of us, they had to break us down into weaker subcultures because that makes us easier to rule.
Right,
like
and
that.
we keep falling for it.
I like that. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, and everybody should be very weary of being typecasted or put into a box or labeled. I mean, I'm free. You can't label me. I can, as long as I'm not harming anyone else, I'm going to do what I want and I'm going to love it. You know, I have a lot of LGBT fans. I have a lot of fans who live on a farm and, you know, could never imagine hanging out with someone like that. But it's because my message promotes freedom for the individual, which is freedom for all of us.
The largest minority is the individual.
The largest minority is the individual. You go, girl. That's true.
All right. So we're like, you know, we don't have to worry about our time as much because I'm not having to edit any of these because we're live everywhere. So
yay!
If you guys want to keep plowing on for a few more minutes, we can. We're
everybody who's tuned in tonight to watch us and to listen to us live, like we love you. Thank you. Share us with your friends. Come back. Keep listening.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, and thank you guys for having me on, and thanks to everybody who's been watching. You guys are awesome.
Ooh, sorry, something just flickered on my screen. What
shiny object?
If you could put together one show, 4 or 5 bands, musical acts, solo artists, whatever? And I assume you're going to put yourself in there too. Who else do you book?
That's basically like, who are the 4 or 5 bands I want people to go check out? And I think they should get a pen and paper and write down because I'm dead serious about some of these names. And most of them will probably be synthwave because they'll make you feel good.
That's the kind of music I want to hear.
I'm telling you right now, write down, let's see, write down The Midnight. That's the easy one. The Midnight. They are really, really inspirational. And Time Cop 1983, he actually did a song on my second album and he tours the world. Time Cop 1983, he'll make you feel good. You would be surprised 2 of the artists would be local and from Indianapolis because they should be mega famous all over the world by now and they're my friends. But Pope Adrian Bless, he's on my album Peace. You see behind me, he's on one of my songs. That kid is one of the baddest rappers ever to live. Pope Adrian Bless. And then my other buddy, Sirius Black, he's in Indianapolis. They both have amazing YouTube channels. Somebody saw The Midnight. Yep. Oh my God. So you know synthwave music. Go on, girl. Talk to them about synthwave and those feel good vibes. It's so empowering. Another one would probably be like there's just tons. I mean, I can't even begin. If it's a modern artist that I'd want to do a show with that's famous, it would probably be Nas. I'd have to say I was a Nas stan forever. He's probably the best rapper ever to live in my book, him and Rakim.
I hear a lot of people say that about him. But I remember Nas growing up that everyone hated him. At least everyone in my friends group.
Hated Nas?
Yeah.
Yeah. We hated Jay-Z big time. I
don't like Jay-Z.
I still hate him.
Is there a certain time period of Nas that's better than another? Or
go to 2001 Stillmatic. His first album, Illmatic, is amazing, but when he got angry when Jay-Z attacked him is when you get more raw and gritty, you know.
I'm writing this stuff down.
You go. I love it.
Yeah, it's more personal. It feels more raw and more unfiltered.
Yes. And DMX, I would probably, if there's one artist I could do a song with in the history of music, it would be DMX because he came from the heart. And I don't care what his problems are, what people want to say he's on crack. I don't care. He's a real human being. And in my opinion, he's done the greatest hip hop performance in the history of hip hop when he rocked the Woodstock 50-year anniversary or 25-year anniversary show.
25.
And it was one man on the stage with, 500,000 people, and he had everyone saying every word. And yeah, I met him once, and it was an amazing, crazy. I was at a hotel and I was working the front desk, and they were afraid to take care of the entourage, and they called me and they told me his government name, Earl Simmons, is coming to check in. And I was like, oh my God. And they're like, you need to come into work and you're going to take care of him. And I was like, oh my God, I'm on my way. And of course,
you don't even have to pay me. I got this.
Yeah.
I'll be right there.
His entourage comes up to the front desk, and he wasn't coming up. And so I was real sad. He was right there. I just wanted to cry. This is like 2000, like right when he's mega famous, And I lived in Tampa with my friend, and we missed all our friends. And so I check him in, and I'm sitting there, and I look at my boss, and I'm like, I don't care if they fire me. And I jump over the counter, and I'm in a suit, and I like turn, and he looks at me, and there's no one that can stop us. And I'm like, I just want you to know that you have helped save my life the last 6 months. And he turned around and he was like, that's what it's all about. That's why I do this. That's the realest shit ever. He like put his hand on me, and I put my hand on his shoulder. It was like the most magical moment ever. And then after the show, he came to the hotel and he played Pinochle with a bunch of old white ladies in the bar.
That's awesome.
He's a real motherfucker, DMX. So they can say what they want. Jay-Z ain't never doing that. None of those guys are ever doing that. He's the down-to-earth cat, and that's how I those are the people I want to be around.
That's the best thing about
cool.
working hotels, you guys.
Yeah.
Like seriously, that's the only thing I miss about hospitality is taking care of really cool people.
Yeah,
and
stuff
the
like that.
opportunities that you get to meet people that you wouldn't get to meet otherwise.
That's true.
And you get to see if they're really how they really are. That's a really neat story.
I have seen metal musicians like they don't drink. They want fresh salmon and some steamed vegetables, and they're like laughing at the pros that are working the bar. And then I've seen them in cowboy boots with thongs, having fist pounding temper tantrums in my lobby.
Yeah.
Jenny Lane,
real life.
Died. I mean, the real deal.
What about you, Aaron? What's you're putting together a show? Who are you bringing?
Oh man, my ideal show, like my dream show, would be really, really eclectic.
Same.
It would be
like mine was.
Like no man, like I would be a genre jumping bitch. Like
I like it.
Like I'd want like some old school Outcast and Kate Bush and The Clash.
Yes.
And maybe the Dead Milkmen, just so I could hear watching Scotty die live, because that would be badass, right? And I'd have to throw in like some Alice in Chains and Smashing Pumpkins,
Smashing Pumpkins.
Crowded House, and maybe even Hall & Oates. Like it would be like just
good
a really
lineup,
eclectic kind of ideally Bowie. Like bring Bowie back for one night, and I don't need anybody else.
I love it. Alice in Chains, huge.
Seriously, mine is even more all over the place than hers. I'm gonna have Fish. I'm gonna have fucking death metal. I'm gonna have rap. I'm gonna have fucking bluegrass. John Butler Trio is gonna headline.
Fuck yeah, man! Like anything that ever made me smile or think or really feel something intensely, I would want that represented.
I like it. That's it. That's the goal of music, real music, to make you smile and think or feel, make you feel alive.
Make you feel and think and bring people together for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Mine, I would actually not do a music festival. I would do a Renaissance fair.
Yes.
And my shit would be like Dropkick Murphys would be the headliner. And then I just found this artist called Clamavi de Profundis.
Oh, dude, you need to listen to Axel the Sot. Check out Axel the Sot.
I'll look for it. So there's this song that they put out called When the Hammer Falls, and it's about dwarven, like a dwarven kingdom going off to war, and it's fucking amazing.
Wow.
That'd be badass.
And it's like a chanting kind of.
I get down. I like it.
you can hear in the background they're sitting there banging on swords and shit. It's
Wow.
because like the music is based around the rhythm of the hammers that are beating the metal into shape, and the pickaxes that are tearing through the walls to get at the gold and all that. It's like, it's so cool.
I mean, dude, if I was doing something that was like all inclusive, there are some really cool bands now, like Rainbow Kitten Surprise is a great band. Bad Books and Someone Still Loves You, Boris Yeltsin, like really good bands that nobody knows about. Even highlighting some of those would be badass.
I would honestly use a lot of YouTube artists that do like, what's that one? They do this really good. I can find it real quick. Hang on. Where is my playlist?
YouTube artists I really like. There's a band too called The Light Parade. It's a duet. They're a duo and they're badass. They do a lot of 80s covers, and maybe that's why I love them, but their original shit's cool too.
There is a band called the
Raptor. You need to put
what?
That Matthew Rain Butts comment up. Second from, or now third from the bottom.
Another one up from that.
No. Oh.
Go up. There. That's
the
important.
one.
I just want to let you know that your music has helped me on this intellectual journey and saved my heart from turning cold and bitter.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro. Thank you. Thanks, bro. I took a picture of that. I'm going to post that on my Instagram. That's
awesome.
why I do it. It is not easy. I go through tons of hell and turmoil, and you don't even know. That makes me want to cry. It's real. I thank you, because that's my whole goal, is to help people fight through it, man. I mean, you guys know, people don't talk about the demons they got and the stuff they go through. And I went to bed. I still go to bed like every night this is about year 4, praying that I wake up, or that I don't wake up in the middle of the night getting sick, because I don't know what's been wrong with me, but it's been hell. And people out there go through worse, and they have, in the middle of the day, they break down in their car. They're just sad. They got tough stuff going on at the home, the kids, their spouse. It's not easy out there. So I feel you all. I'm with you. If it's rough, if you feel down, I'm here to tell you to not give in to the doubt and fear, and don't believe in the doubt and fear that they feed you. Believe in yourself. You're stronger than you think. And you can do this. You can overcome. It's real.
I think like we don't understand the power of music a lot of the times, because like what really set me off on the path to libertarianism was Dropkick Murphy's rendition of Johnny I Hardly Knew Ya.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
see, like
that song, when I heard it a couple times, and the first time the lyrics really clicked, it's like, this is about Celtic soldiers being basically conscripted, or they were so fucking poor that the military was the only way out, which is something I could relate to.
Right.
And they're being sent off to fight a war that doesn't fucking matter for anyone but the rich oligarchs.
Right.
And they're coming back, and if they're not coming back in body bags, they're coming back missing limbs. Like, that song is about someone who ends up being a fucking paraplegic. He has no arms and no legs by the end because he got caught in an explosion. Yeah, and that changed my political outlook, because I was pro freedom, but I was also pro nation building too until that song.
Well, look, Metallica's One deals with that, right? We can go way back into the 50s and the 60s, and we're going to find songs that kind of mirror that same thing. I think for me, it was music in a big way. I don't count that kind of as my defining moment, unlike most people in our party, right? Like, I did not come to the Libertarian Party from the left or the right. I was never there because I lived punk culture, punk music, and the culture that surrounded it. I was fortunate to grow up with 2 very free-thinking parents who wanted their children to be very free-thinking. So I listened to that shit. And so in those formative years, that's where that was coming from, right? So I never really bought in. And it was because I think of the music and the culture. I have always been the kid that pisses off teachers, right? That questions shit. That's just like always been me.
Yeah.
I got arrested at my first protest at 15. Like that's always been where I was coming from, and I think it was because of the music.
Yeah. Yes, that's great though. Shout out to your parents.
My parents are cool.
I'm jealous.
My parents were very conservative and all that, but they allowed my brother to have his long hair in the 80s, wear his leather jackets, get his ears pierced. And instead of them saying, go out and do whatever, they said, no, your band can come here and practice in our house. So at least we know you're safe. And they let them go wild. And then, you know, it was smart.
My parents were really
exactly
conservative, but they also homeschooled me. And the big lesson was always, here's the book, figure it out. And I've taken that figure it the fuck out yourself mindset the whole way through life.
I used to get so pissed at my mom because like all my friends, it's time to sell Girl Scout cookies and their parents would do it. My mom was like, nah, man, I'm not a Girl Scout, you know? Projects are coming in.
You signed up for this shit, bitch.
Right, like all my friends, their parents are like really souping up their book reports, right? Making these really cool presentation covers. And my mom was like, no, because if I do your homework, you don't learn anything. So you figure it out. Like she just would not. She made us do it ourselves. She made us kind of explore. And if there was something you were capable of doing for yourself, she was not going to step in.
Two things.
To do
that was my exact parenting strategy with Alex. I heard somebody say it on a talk show who wrote a couple of parenting books. I don't do anything for my kids they can do for themselves. I took that and ran with it, and she's still pissed about it today.
First off, Elfie, don't fucking fact check me. I know it's missing all four of them. The song says he's an armless, boneless, legless something. He's got no arms and legs. He's paraplegic. Second, I think I cut you off, Drain. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So since our guest doesn't know, Elfie is his wife. That's why he's yelling at her like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to yell at her on here because she runs the household. So this is like the only power I have.
Right. I like that.
It's okay. She'll get even when we're not on air anymore.
Oh
yeah,
she'll get over it even.
Yeah, but he'll like it.
True. Fucking way.
All right, so I think we're kind of running out of steam here. It's getting kind of late.
Yeah,
it's been an hour and a half. So,
night.
Blooded the Brave, tell us where we can find all of your stuff.
If you go to Google or any search engine and type in Blooded the Brave, you'll find me everywhere. I'm on every platform. My website is bloodedthebrave.com. I dropped my new album and I revamped the website and it was awesome. And now it's down for maintenance. I'm transferring, but I'm on Spotify and iTunes but bandcamp.com is the best place to find me. I'm on SoundCloud, Facebook, Instagram, Blooded the Brave. You'll see me under Kyle Reese. Those albums that you liked, if you look those up on Spotify, you have to type in Kyle Reese, but those albums are on there too. So I'm there. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
All right. So thank you for coming on. Everyone, don't forget discount code DRUNK at northspokanecbd.com. Helping them helps us. We get to get some funding for our show, which we desperately need. Otherwise, we will see you all tomorrow as Aaron's up for the news.
Come see me for the news.
And then Thursday, I got news, and then we're going in with Smoke Break. I don't even know who's coming in with me with Smoke Break.
I am.
I can't.
We might have Blooded come back and do our episode with Smoke Break.
That would be
dope.
That
would be dope.
All right. We'll see y'all later. Thanks for checking us out. Please share, like, subscribe,
comment,
all of that stuff. Help us in the algorithms, guys.
If you're watching us on YouTube, we need those thumbs.
Yep.
Please.
And not the Josh Smith thumbs. I realize not everyone's gonna get that joke. Like, don't do that kind of that weak ass Josh Smith thumb. You do it strong, okay? Fucking get better, Josh. I don't want you to die. I just want to break your thumb. Bye.